Just a short snippet of today's class around content marketing to help association staff and association marketers understand how content marketing can fit into their strategies. And of course, the Association Digital Marketing Certificate course is sponsored by Association Analytics, Feather, Open Water, Prop Fuel, and my company, Ricochet. So the big question is, what is content marketing? And I'll admit, I talked about content marketing a lot in my old job, but we always were kind of wishy-washy on how we defined it. And so it's been important as you start to develop content strategies to define and explain exactly what content marketing means for your organization. So I have some kind of chapters or elements that I think are hallmarks for content marketing. Let's talk about content marketing. First, let's talk about why you need content marketing, then we're going to explain what it is. So in past classes, we have talked about CTAs. Folks, tell me, what is a CTA? You cannot graduate from this class. I will not let it happen until you can tell me what a CTA is. Tell me in the chat, what's a CTA? This is like fundamental 101 stuff you need to know. There we go. I see it all. Fantastic. That's right. Call to action. So we've talked about calls to action like join now, enroll now, register now. I don't know how many emails, how many direct mail pieces I've written where I use these exact three CTAs. These are like pretty much my favorites. Join now, enroll now, register now. But that doesn't always work, right? Sometimes people, well, they're just not that into you. And so we're going to take a fun detour right now. Does anybody remember this movie? Does anybody remember this movie? It's called He's Just Not That Into You. It's from 2009, and I don't think that, I think it's a little misogynistic to say he's not that into you. Like, totally, she could not be that into you either. And so I think these days we'd say they're just not that into you. So I watched a little snippet of this while I was getting ready for class the other day. It's not that bad. And look at all these actresses and actors that are in it. It has Drew Barrymore and Jennifer Aniston. And this is Bradley Cooper, who looks like he's like 19 in the poster there. Jennifer Connelly's in it. I don't know who this guy is. I see him a lot. I think he used to do like Apple commercials. But it is an all-star cast. So they would never be able to afford to make this movie with all these big stars today. They all went on. Scarlett Johansson's in there. Yeah, Justin Long, somebody's got it. So this one actually this weekend might be worth cracking open and taking a look at it again. And if you do, I would love it if you would say, you know what? There's some good marketing strategy learnings from this class. What would we do when they're just not into this? So as marketers, we're responsible for making our customers into us so that they will transact with us. Sometimes they are not into us, and that's when content marketing comes into play. With content marketing, we are trying to get them to fall in love with our company by enticing them, not by pummeling them with CTAs. And I see a lot of positive reviews for this movie. So I actually may like crank it out. I've got a long plane ride this weekend, so I may put that on my laptop and watch it myself. All right. If you have a lead that is just not that into you, which of these categories are they? Are they a cold lead, a warm lead, a hot lead, or a happy member? What are they? They're not into you, so which are they? Maddie says cold. Jordan says cold. Christy says cold. Amanda says cold, and they are all correct. You're all correct. When we talk about leads in terms of like the affinity for our product, and when they are cold, they are not into you. And then it's like stepwise improvements along the evolutionary scale as they become more and more into you. And we are going in content marketing. What we don't do is just keep telling them our features and our benefits and join now, and then send them another email and do it all again. With content marketing, we are going to give them some valuable content. So this is like showing up. So you've got a date scheduled and they're not into you. They're just not that into you. Content marketing is the equivalent of showing up at that door with the roses in hand. You got a little gift. You want to like ease into it. Actually, maybe roses is a little bit much in 2021. I don't know. You guys tell me. I show up at the door for my date. here I am. I have a nice little content gift. It's like if it was marketing, it would be content, but I have a nice little gift in real life. What do I bring for a date these days? Is it roses? Fruit, food? Oh, actually, if you want to know what would get me, I'd be like, yeah, show up with a bag of Chinese food with that sweet and sour chicken and vegetable fried rice. Okay, small bouquet of flowers, sunflowers, any flowers. Yeah, I think like roses is too much. So, and that's actually a good learning also. We don't like give them our most valuable content in content marketing, but we want things that give them a taste of our organization and what we can produce and give them a sense of what the value that we can provide over the long term, right? So flowers, of course, wine is a great suggestion too. So content marketing is about giving them little gifts of content so they understand what we can offer in the long term. And the great thing as association marketers, you are also lucky. Oh, and I see Susie saying like, this is exactly what we do. This is our primary marketing strategy. That's great. So Susie, you can jump in with some examples too, maybe as we're going along here today. You are also lucky because you are association marketers and you have this. You have these giant library of content. You have more content than your typical industry. So you've heard me talk. I used to work with Kraft and I used to work with Unilever. They do not have this. They do not have this. What are some of the areas where your association develops content that might be appropriate for content marketing? What are some of the zones you would go looking for? A blog, there we go. Conferences, newsletters, publications, webinars, videos, podcasts. We're going to talk about podcasts later. I knew podcast was going to come up today. We're going to talk about it. I'm down on podcasts and I'm going to talk to you why, and we're going to debate it. Regional meetings. Here's somebody saying, look, our archives are crazy. We have all of this. And in fact, you do. So you are marketers sitting, like you're kind of sitting on this. This is an incredible library. I don't recall where it is. It is not in Chicago, New York, or Miami. I'm certain about that. But it is just rows and rows of content that you can pluck from to repurpose for your marketing efforts. And you are going to pull that content to warm up those leads. And I saw somebody just put in the chat their little nomenclature, their little lingo, their little phrase is taking them from cold to sold. Cold to sold. So Jennifer has a good question, and we're going to jump into this. I'm going to tackle that right after I go through this slide, Jennifer. That's great. So I want to have a lot of debate and discussion around content marketing. So content marketing is about solving a prospect's needs with your high value content from that library we just looked at, delivering that public content during a defined period. So I'm not saying take all of your content and make it publicly available forever. In a previous class, we talked about the importance of member gates. What I am telling you, though, is that you're going to need to make some of this public-ish for a period. We're going to talk about that. Jennifer kind of has a little bit of a question around that. Then we are going to do this over time so that we build a trusted relationship. And when we have that trusted relationship, we are going to talk about completing the transaction. We got to warm them up so that they see value, so that they become into us, and then we will transact. And before we go offline for our live broadcast, and thanks to everybody that's joining us on social media through the Academy channels and also our partner channels, Jennifer has a great question. She says, like, am I supposed to give all of this, like the full piece of content away for free or just a snippet? Here's what I think you need to remember. I actually wouldn't give any of it away that wasn't gated, but I would gate it in a different way. I would say, okay, we have this infographic. We have this reprint of our best article from 1987, which is suddenly now more relevant than ever before. And in order for you, non-member or non-customer, to access it, we just need a little bit of data. And there are actually 4 data points that I ask for with my content downloads, and it is the same for every time. And you all, when you signed up, if you actually downloaded the course syllabus for the Academy, you gave me those 4 pieces of content. Who wants 4 pieces of information? Who wants to guess what those 4 pieces are? Tell me what are those 4 pieces that will unlock the content that I'm giving you in my content marketing campaigns. Name, email, company, role. Name, name, email, company, role. Yep. So, and that's exactly it. Instead of role, I say title, and then Aaron got it. So first name, last name, company email at, actually, it's not. So we're going to go advanced on you. It's first name, last name. So name, work email address. So I actually filter out, I don't allow free email addresses like Gmail to be used for content downloads, because our advanced marketing automation, HubSpot or Salesforce Marketing Cloud or Eloqua, they allow you to pull that work email address and figure out what company you were with and use publicly available data to give us the annual revenue and the industry specifics and more. So that's 3: first name, last name, email address, and then title. And title I use because we always have a back-end process that figures out what seniority level you are and what function you are. So if you're marketing, you get segmented content that might be different than the messages that we would send you if you're a marketer or in membership, etc. So I do first, last, work email address, and number 4 is your title. We're B2B. So these are the fields that I feel are important typically for association marketing. And with that, Tom is going to give us the sayonara for our live broadcast, and we are going to continue.